Let's take a look at this big, beautiful bill and why it got voted out of the House committee quite recently. I will say this bill has some horrible stuff in it, like the cuts to Medicaid matching in those 14 states that use their own state funds to essentially provide immigrants Medicaid services where they ordinarily would not get those services. There's also these SNAP cuts, which are not good. A bunch of stuff that isn't good. However, in the long run, this bill is not going to be a spending cut bill. It's going to be a net spending bill in all projections, which is why representatives like Chip Roy are mad about it and won't vote for it. Obviously, I believe different things about the deficit, but there is some decent stuff like the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. I don't care about SALT deductions. It's all fine. The expanded child tax credit, that's a very good thing. It's not quite expanded as much as it was under Biden. He had it up at like $3,500, I think. This one's at $2,500, so better than nothing. But we'll listen to this guy talk about why he thinks the bill got slashed down.
Texas Republican Congressman Brian Babin. Congressman Babin, so there's going to be another vote tonight. This thing didn't get out of committee, and it was in part thanks to your fellow Republicans who don't like the contents of President Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill. What do you think the chances are that something gets fixed by tomorrow night?
Well, I'm hoping. That's all I can tell you. I'm very prayerful, very hopeful. We've got an opportunity now, the opportunity of a lifetime, basically, and I hope we don't squander this thing. I think we need to close ranks. I know there's some questions. I have questions myself, but not everyone is going to get everything they want out of this. And of course, the downgrading of our U.S. credit rating by Moody's in the last 24, 48 hours is not helping things either. But this is something
Moody's was just the last of the three big rating organizations to do that. It's a stupid system. It's totally nonsensical. Like, there's no reality in which we don't type in the keystrokes that we need to type in our treasury accounts to pay off our Chinese debtors, or our Russian debtors. It's just not going to happen. There is no credit risk. There is no default risk on sovereign debt. It's just mechanically impossible.
Known for many, many years, rising debt, interest payments exploding, bloated entitlements. It's absolutely unsustainable. We know that, but this didn't happen overnight. This has been going on for many decades, and this bill isn't perfect, John, but I'll tell you, it moves the ball down the field, and let me tell you, that's more than Washington's done in a generation.
It moves the ball down the field for Medicaid and SNAP if you just love cutting those programs. But overall, deficit-wise, the calculations are pretty clear. Like with the tax cuts, no tax and tips, overtime, SALT, all that stuff, expanded child tax credit, it's going to be a net positive for the deficit, which is why the markets like this bill. If this bill does not pass, and it's in a form that is kind of similar to its current form, by that I mean growing deficit, then the markets will respond to that positively, because deficit means stability to the markets and to me. So no, this does not move the ball down the hill. If your goal is to reduce the deficit, that should be no one's goal, but we have a bunch of old people in the Senate or the House who can't comprehend that.
For the first time in nearly 30 years, Congress is delivering a serious package of mandatory spending cuts, $1.6 trillion to be exact. We can't afford to delay this thing anymore. It's time to face up.
I think it's fair to say that you're one of the more fiscally conservative members of Congress, but those who voted not to let this thing get out of committee are saying that it doesn't make deep enough cuts to the federal budget. How would you answer that?
I would say not everybody's getting everything they want. It wasn't done in just a couple of years. Like I said, it took decades to get to this place, but this is the first time that I can ever remember that we really took a hard look at taking at reducing spending and cutting this. and it's not enough. I don't like it either. I mean,
This is a tax cut bill, tax cut extension bill. This is not a spending cut bill. Like, I don't know what's so complicated about this.
I can tell you, I'd like to see this budget balance in reality in the next 5 to 10 years. But unfortunately, this is the way this is working. And we absolutely have got to do our duty. And that's what it's all about.
The House Speaker has said he would like to have this thing passed by Memorial Day, and the president says he'd like to sign it into law by the 4th of July. What are the chances, do you think?
I think there's a good chance. I really do. Now we're seeing some, we're hearing some murmurings and some signaling coming out of the U.S. Senate that they're threatening to reject what we send them from the House. But I'll tell you, I think President Trump can do the same thing in the Senate. He's been doing in the House. That is, make a few phone calls and get people on board. Again, John, I would love to see much more, deeply more cuts. I would love to see us balance this budget. We haven't balanced it since Newt Gingrich and President Clinton, and it's time to do this and save.
I wonder if he just hasn't seen what Chip Royer is referring to when he talks about, oh, this is going to increase the debt by $5 trillion. Like, he just doesn't pay attention to that. He's like, oh, this is making some progress, but not as much as I want, when in reality it's going the opposite direction that he's talking about. Now, for me, that's a good thing. For him, that's a bad thing, but we went over that.
America for our kids and our grandkids. But this is a serious bill. Again, I don't like everything in it, and not everybody's getting everything they want, but this is what we have, and we have to close ranks around it and vote for it.
Let's talk a little bit about the Supreme Court.